It's Sunday afternoon, 5 p.m. I had an amazing workout. Sunday, my first workout, I usually focus on stretching and some activation exercises, especially for my shoulder, because I still have a shoulder injury that I'm carrying around, but just generally trying to recover my whole body. So lots of stretching. I'm going to go on a long walk after this. Just some active recovery, and it gives me time to just be in quiet space and think. In the last few days in general, I've done a lot of introspecting. It's October 2025. I'm on the end of week 2 of a 75 hard. It's starting to feel a lot more habitual. The training is a bit more routine, working out twice a day. It's not easy, but it's becoming more and more of a habit. And you've probably heard this before, habits form after like 21 days. And I can literally feel it happen as I go. It becomes more normal and more normal and more normal. And I don't have to think about it anymore. I don't have to force myself anymore. My day becomes more structured and my entire process makes it easy to train twice a day and eat clean while still working and doing all of my other stuff. Now, the past few days, I've spent a lot of time introspecting. Where do I want to take this channel? What is my goal in general? What do I want to do in life? You know, I have this vision, but I try once a year to become more clear on what my vision is. What do I really want? Who do I want to be? And who do I want to become? So thinking about this a lot also made me reflect a lot on my past. And what happens in my case, when I reflect on my past, I often have this almost loop of sadness, and that leads to, maybe sadness is not the right word. The right word is probably melancholy. So I was feeling like kind of sad, and then I had these days where I felt almost a little bit depressed. And the first time I was depressed was probably around the age of 27, when I felt literal depression, where I woke up feeling sad, and I had this, sadness is just one of the terms. I think the more correct term is probably emptiness, where I would just feel empty. Like, why am I doing this? Like, what's the point of all of this? Like, where is this going? It's like this existential worry or thought. And it was like a day or 2 days here or there, and that was it. And the first time it really hit me more frequently was when I started working, actually in my second year of work, where I just felt so unfulfilled. And I had these days where I was at the office and I felt so drained and empty inside, and it was really bad. So I can remember this one specific day. I don't even want to go into too much detail, but I just remember thinking, like, having these thoughts like, okay, if I just died now, nobody would even really care. You know, it was all of this weeks of sleep deprivation, eating shitty food, all of this accumulating. But I would have these bouts of depressive thoughts, and they would come occasionally. Again, I would say probably like twice a year. And over the time, I've noticed something very interesting, and that happened for the first time early last year, 2024, when I felt depressed, and I decided, okay, like, rather than trying to be like, oh my God, I feel sad, I feel depressed, I'm just going to sit with that emotion and listen to it a little bit. And I had this happen again this week. I felt this emotion of, oh, I'm depressed. And I said with myself, and I need to clarify this. If you are actually clinically depressed, meaning there is something wrong in your neurotransmitters, permanently wrong, this will most likely not work. What I'm about to share with you, what I do, will probably not work. So if you constantly fight with depression over multiple weeks or multiple months, you should probably seek out help from a professional. But if you have these occasional bouts, days or maybe 2 or 3 days where you feel like you're depressed and you don't really understand why, then this might actually help you fix this. And the only reason I'm sharing this is not because I want to sound like, oh my God, this guy's depressed, or because I want your pity or whatever. It's more because I feel like I have found a way that is amazing for me, that really actually helps me grow every time I feel this, and that I haven't ever heard anybody talk about this. I've never heard anybody talk about this or see it that same way, which is a bit surprising to me. I'm sure somebody has, and I just haven't seen it. So if you know somebody that says it this way, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'd be very happy to listen to other people that have had the same approach to this. Now, two things that I think two things that I think, two pointers here that are very important. The first one is that, for me at least, I realize that a lot of the time when I get those feelings, it's tied in a lot of external circumstances. Things like sleep deprivation, things like a couple of days of eating shitty food. And then I have these like almost like depressed feelings, and I don't even know where they come from, but I can feel like it's something that caused it over the past few days, and it's like a chemical disbalance in my body, and it's most likely going to pass as soon as I slept. So the next day, usually it's gone. And I'm pretty sure that this is something that most people experience. Men probably experience it less than women. It's like simply a hormonal swing. And whenever that happens, I don't really give it too much attention. I'm like, okay, no surprise. Like in August this year, I had some alcohol and I literally didn't drink. I think maybe I had a glass of wine for Christmas and that's it for 9 months, not a single drop. And then I drank a couple glasses one night. And the day after, for about 3 days, I had this depressed feeling. And of course, I had that because my body was used to being fed extremely healthy nutrients. And all of a sudden, I gave it alcohol, a lot of alcohol. That's not good for the body. So I had this disbalance, which made me feel confused and my hormones were fucked up and everything. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, let's assume it's not based on this and it's just completely random. And that's most of the time when it happens to me. What I realize is when I just sit with that emotion, like really asking myself, why do I feel this? And the reason I started thinking about this is because I thought, I remember this quote by Andrew Tate. You might think of him whatever you want, and it's not really relevant, but he has this famous quote where he said, "Oh, I've never seen a man that's working getting a six-pack and depressed at the same time." And that quote stuck with me ever since, because I noticed that I would never feel depressed when I'm working out. And I'm not gonna go to like, oh, you just have to go work out when you feel depressed. That's not what I'm getting at. What I realize is that I'm never feeling depressed while I'm doing something active that I chose to do. That made me think, so what causes this feeling in me? And every time I feel this feeling of depression, like when I wake up and I have a day where I kind of feel depressed, or maybe even 2 or 3 days, every single time, the root of that feeling is that I am doing something or living in circumstances that I'm not happy with. And which makes it worse is that oftentimes I chose these circumstances. So I was feeling that extremely strongly when I was in this job that I was not fulfilled at, really not fulfilled at. Feeling stressed, feeling tired, feeling exhausted, sleep deprived, not eating right, not having time to go to my training, not having time to see my friends, not having the freedom, even just in terms of, not even like freedom in terms of traveling, literally the freedom to hang out with a girl that I'm dating or to meet my friends for an evening activity. That made me feel extremely unfulfilled and extremely empty on the inside. Now I decided to move to Bulgaria this year, and I came here and I kind of liked it, and there are days where I'm really enjoying myself here because I'm just working, I'm training, I'm occasionally seeing people that I know here, but I realized that all of my friends are in a different place. It's really gray, and this is not really the place I see myself in long term. So yes, it's a fantastic base for me right now, rationally, but on an emotional level, it doesn't really feel right. And this, it not feeling right, expressed itself in me feeling a little bit depressed, like I am not really feeling my situation. So that feeling for me was essentially a realization. Yesterday I was thinking about, so why am I feeling that way? Okay, something, I really question it. Okay, what is the problem? Like what, okay, like talking to myself, what's the matter? Okay, and like just listening to what comes up, right? And then realizing that I needed to make a change. Now, I might not have the ideal answer to what do I want, where do I want to live, who do I want to live with. Sure, I have a vision for 10 years in the future, but I don't actually have a vision or a plan for right now. And that's the problem. The problem was that I'm in a situation that's not perfect, that I'm not super fulfilled with, but I don't have a plan of action. And that caused that feeling. So realizing that this is what made me feel quote unquote depressed And that all essentially I needed to do is actually make a plan on, okay, well, what's the next step? What do I want? What do I want to change? Like you, internal, subconscious, that is causing that emotion. What do you want? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And then listening to that and making a plan to implement it. For me, that works wonders. And it's literally the same thing as saying, I've never seen a man that is working on getting a six-pack and is depressed. It's the same thing. I am taking action. I am taking control of my own life and this living actively rather than just passively going throughout the day. And this, I think, is a very important point. The last few weeks, I was just going through the motions. I was living the life I planned a few months ago, even though I very quickly realized when I came here that, man, this would probably be just a stint of boredom and implementation, which again is fine and sometimes necessary, but I didn't have a plan for after. I still didn't know, what am I going to do in January? Where am I going to go? So yesterday, what did I do? I decided I need to make a plan on where to go. I gave my subconscious the understanding like, hey, I hear you. I understand you want to do something different. We need to change something. Let's work on it. Let's make a plan. What are we going to do? And immediately that feeling subsided. So for me, this feeling that I had yesterday was one of the best things that happened to me in a long time. It was really just me noticing that something is wrong, and rather than going with what I would have done just a few years ago, like trying to, oh my God, I'm feeling sad, let's suppress it or let's do something to entertain myself. Because just a year or 2 years ago, I would probably have gone on a dating app and tried to meet some girl to distract myself and get external positive emotions. But rather than trying to override these negative emotions, this time I really forced myself to sit with the emotions and actually listen to them and work through them. I felt so much better afterwards. It's crazy. And I wonder why I've never thought about this before, like really trying to understand them, really trying to understand what causes the emotions and where they're pointing me towards and what I need to do. And it's beautiful. For me, it's really beautiful. Understanding why your subconscious mind is giving you certain emotions, seeing everything as feedback. So how can I learn from it? How can I actually make my life better? Because there shouldn't be any reason anybody that has a decent life, that has his health together, has his family, has his friend, you should not be feeling depressed. If you're feeling depressed, even though you're healthy, even though you're not living on the street, you have to ask yourself, what is causing that feeling? You cannot tolerate that depression as just, oh, I'm just going to be depressed or I'm just going to take pills. Ask yourself, what is causing the feeling? And it's most likely going to be because you live in reaction to what's happening, in reaction to a plan that was set in motion, maybe by yourself a year in the past, a plan that was put on you by your family or your friends or society. If you can take action, take control of your life and decide what you want to do, where you want to live, who you want to live with, do the things that you want to do, how are you going to be depressed? How are you going to sit there and tell me that you're still going to be depressed? Now, this might sound like distraction, but I don't think it is distraction. It is really just taking control of what you want, because your natural state shouldn't be feeling sad or sorry for yourself or melancholic, right? The past is the past, the present is the present, and the future is the future. And if you're melancholic, it basically means that you wish the past was still there. The first step here is cut it off. The past is gone. And it's nice, especially if you have a beautiful past that you still think about in a positive way. You should be grateful that you already experienced these things. But now it's the present. And the present is the time to enjoy what you have and build for the future. Yeah, it is a little bit silly, but don't reminisce. Is that a term? Well, you know what I'm going at. Don't dwell on the past. Now I'm going to leave you with that. Talk to you in one of the next videos. And a very quick note, thank you for watching these long videos. I really appreciate it. If you're not yet subscribed, consider subscribing. It really makes me happy because I'm at like 120 subscribers. I still see the notification bell popping off. I appreciate you guys watching the content that I actually sit here and record on my Sundays or on my days after work, sharing what I've learned. If there's anything you would want me to talk about more, let me know in the comments, and I'll probably do it, honestly, because I'm still thinking, what do I even want to talk about? What do I want to share? And at this point in my journey, sometimes I don't even know what's that valuable for you guys.